have an amazing guest with us. I interviewed her back in CPAC in Texas back in July. We have Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines Barker now, correct?
I know.
Yeah,
I'm old.
She has quite the accolades too. She is a 12-time All-American swimmer and 5-time SEC champion.
Correct.
Quite the accolades. And she's also the Independent Women's Forum spokesperson.
Correct.
And we all know her because she is the person who swam against the transgender William Thomas in collegiate swimming. So thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you for the mouthful
Yeah.
of accolades. You make me sound cooler
well,
than I am.
We're very proud of you.
Of course.
So,
thank you.
Just to give everyone a brief update, can you explain how you got involved? What happened with swimming against William Thomas?
Absolutely. So I graduated and swam at the University of Kentucky. Last year was my senior year, and I was faced with the injustice of competing against a biological man. A biological man who, the year prior to competing in the women's category, was ranked 462nd amongst the men.
He sucked.
A year later, winning a national title, becoming the fastest woman in the country. And so we raced each other in the 200-yard freestyle, which ultimately resulted in a tie. We went the exact same time down to the 100th of a second. And so upon tying, we go behind the awards podium, and the NCAA official looks at us and says, "Great job. You guys tied. Leah, you get the trophy." And so when I questioned him, what's your rationale behind this? I understand we tied. I understand there's a trophy. Why are you giving this trophy to Leah? He says, "Well, Leah has to have the trophy for photo purposes. You can pose with this one, but you go home empty-handed. Leah gets the trophy." And so that's when I felt compelled to take a public stance and felt compelled to stand in the truth.
Right.
And so that was almost a year ago. And so that's exactly what I've been doing this past year is truthfully just standing firm in the truth.
Yeah, well, it's about time that someone actually stood up and spoke out against this. There's an iconic photo out there. There's William standing up, posing with the trophy, and then there's you kind of in the back, and you're just like looking at it like, what is happening? But so the last time I talked to you was at CPAC, Texas in July. We were kind of talking about the midterms, what we thought was going to happen, what we were hoping to accomplish when the Republican majority took back Congress. What have you been seeing since then? Are there any legislations being pushed at the national level first, and then we'll talk about the state level?
Yes, there actually are. Obviously, the Biden administration is actively working to rewrite Title IX. For those who don't know what Title IX is, it's a federal law that upholds no discriminating on the basis of sex among college campuses and universities. The Biden administration is trying to equate gender identity to sex, which would mean now that men could infiltrate into women's sports, they could steal their educational and athletic scholarships, they could be in sororities, they could live in dorm rooms with women and you could do nothing about it. It would actually be sexual harassment if you misgendered a trans identifying individual, but it's not sexual harassment for a male to be flashing his male genitalia in our locker room. So that is what the Biden administration is doing, but there is hope. Because like you said, we've taken back the House, and so the Stubbe bill was filed, and it upholds Title IX as well as the Protection for Fairness in Women's Sports Act, I believe, by the senator from Alabama, Tuberville. So good things are being done at the federal level.
Yeah, well, thank God. So we're really praying that things continue to get accomplished at the federal
Absolutely.
level. Now, you've been really active at the state level. So can you give me an update of what you've been doing? Because you've been very busy.
Absolutely. With this new legislative cycle, prior to this new cycle, there have been 18 states that have already passed a Fairness in Women's Sports Act. There are many states who are actively trying to do so now. Hopefully by the end of this cycle, we won't have 50 states. Of course, that's our goal in the future, but hopefully we can have 25. I've been testifying at the state level because I believe it's important even for girls as young as elementary school.
Right.
Even if you're not an elite female athlete at the collegiate level, no girl should have to physically compare themselves to a male and lose the ability to give consent in areas where you undress. And so that's been my mission ever since I started speaking out, is to help make changes. And I truthfully feel like that is being done.
Sweet. We love to hear it, and we applaud you for the fight at the state level. But I kind of want to get back to the basics real quick.
Absolutely.
You know, the Biden administration, Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was the Supreme Court nominee at the time, now she's confirmed. She was asked by Senator
Marsha Blackburn.
Yes, exactly. She was here at CPAC. What is a woman? And she couldn't identify what is a woman.
You know, the thing is, I don't even think that she couldn't. She would just rather live in a lie
Right.
than say something that will really say the most basic of truths.
Yeah.
Because it would risk her career, when in reality, we even know that's not true, because a recent poll showed somewhere between 60 and 70% of even Democrats agree with us on this issue.
Right.
There are so few issues in politics where people agree, but this is one of them. It's quite honestly just common sense to acknowledge and understand that men and women are different, especially in places like sports where biology plays such a big role. Your sex-specific physiology, that's what contributes to your athletic performance and ultimately your success. And so I can't even tell you how disappointing it is that we have a sitting Supreme Court justice who can't chooses not to define what a woman is, and actually in response says, sorry, I'm not a biologist.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
So since you're here, can you help her out and give us a definition or
Absolutely.
an example of what a woman is?
Absolutely. A woman is an adult human female. Female then being further defined as someone who has the capabilities to produce egg or ova. Not to get all scientific, but we know what a woman is. We know a woman is not someone with male genitalia. We know a woman is not just someone who simply says, I identify as a woman. It makes a mockery of what we as women actually do go through. We're not just the heels and the dress and the hair and the makeup. It's a lot more than that to be a woman, and these males who are claiming that identity, it's selfish, it's arrogant, and it shows a utter disregard for real biological women.
Well, I hope Ketanji Brown Jackson just listened to this. Maybe she could take a few pointers, and the other liberals and leftists at the White House and in Congress can take a few notes as well. So you're the spokesperson for Independent Women's Forum. Can you explain a little bit more about what they're doing and what you're doing
absolutely.
with them?
They're a conservative-minded group who aims to reach that middle ground people on the political spectrum, which I think is phenomenal, especially in regards to this issue, because I enjoy going on Fox. I enjoy doing things like this, but these people agree with me. How can we reach those people?
Chamber.
How can we reach those people who may not see eye to eye yet? And so that's what they do. They handle a lot of different issues that affect women.
Yeah.
Again, conservative-minded. They're really phenomenal at accomplishing things and getting things done.
Well, where can people find more out about the IWF?
You can go to www.iwf.org. They post resources, links, videos, all kinds of updates in regards to what they're doing. I'll actually be in Kansas on Monday testifying on behalf of Independent Women's Forum for the Women's Bill of Rights, which, believe it or not, defines what a woman is.
Crazy.
It actually passed on the House side in Kansas, and so now it's being moved, on the Senate side in Kansas, now it's being moved to the House side. So Kansas is ahead of the curve, phenomenal, and I can only hope to continue contributing to that success.
Yeah, you know, I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, it's crazy that I even have to talk to you about this. You know, like, I love talking to you, getting to hear all the great things that you're doing, but seriously, why are we even talking about this? What are you going to do next? So you're leaving CPAC in a couple days. What's the next steps right now?
I'm doing, actually, along with all of the state testifying, I'm doing a lot of college campus speaking, which I think is really important to involve this next generation. These are the people whose voices will matter. They do matter now. We need this younger generation to understand, again, what it is to be a woman,
right.
To acknowledge that, to use their voice, and to fight for that. And so that's kind of my next quest. Something I'm really passionate about is speaking to girls my age, really men and women my age. So.
And people need to hear the truth on the college
Absolutely.
campuses. That's where we're really falling apart as a nation.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know when this episode's going to air, but tomorrow here at CPAC, you're actually speaking at the Women's Breakfast.
Correct.
key word there, women's breakfast. So I can't go, but then I was thinking, I might identify as a woman.
Why
so I
not?
can go and hear you and Representative Lauren Boebert
Why
speak,
not?
because everyone else is doing it.
Absolutely.
Riley, I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing for women's sports, and for joining us here at CPAC.
course.
And I wish you the best of luck moving forward and continue to fight the good fight.
Of course. Thank you.